Ladies and gentlemen, we need to have a serious conversation about what's happening in the forex market right now. The dollar is absolutely flying higher. Now, not on this particular candle, ignore that candle, but overall it's flying higher. And I want to talk with you guys today about why I think that the dollar bullishness is not just here and going to be gone tomorrow. I think it's actually pretty much here to stay for the time being. Let's jump into the analysis. I'll show you why I think that. Here we go. Welcome back, guys, to the channel. If you're new here, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, do all the YouTube things, leave a comment, let me know where you're from, all that good stuff. Thanks for watching, and let's talk a little bit about this dollar move that we've seen recently. So I'm bullish on the dollar, and I've talked about this a little while now. I was bullish big time. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you know in 2022 we had some really great moves in the dollar that we were able to capture on the long side. I paused on that going into the beginning of this year, but some things have surfaced that I want to show you here today that make me continue to be or resume my dollar bullish idea. Let's go ahead and talk first about a position that I have on this USD JPY trade that I currently have my stop loss trailed on. You can see here is my entry. You can zoom in right here. 1960 in profit at the time of filming this, and price basically exploded through the highs recently. This is showing from a price action standpoint something pretty unique. You'll notice that just a technical view of dollar yen, we've got higher lows on this chart forming, we've got higher highs on this chart also forming, and things look pretty bullish from a technical or bullish price action perspective. Now I've got my stop loss trailed, so if price does show some signs of reversal and break back through the lows here today, then I'll still take a profit of around $1,400, and I have a trade video filmed, so you'll be able to see the full breakdown on this one in the future. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about why I think the dollar bullishness is here to stay for the time being. Now, it might not be immediate, instantaneously, but overall, I think the dollar stays strong. And to do that, I think we need to look at the dollar on a price action standpoint itself, DXY here. And you can see we formed this low February 1st, and pretty much the entire month of February has been an incredibly strong bullish move for the dollar. And I want to show you some things that I found. Here's the smart money tracker that we use to find COT data. As of the most recent reporting data, you can see that the US dollar has some interesting dynamics about it. If we hover over this, we can see that in terms of a long percentage, 64.74% of contracts opened by institutional money are on the long side of the US dollar. Now, we do whole videos about this if you'd like to check out how we do the smart money tracker. This is basically COT reporting data that is available in the Edge Finder. By the way, guys, if you don't already have the Edge Finder, there is a free version now available down below in the description or in the pinned comment in the comment section below. We'll put the free version link. Just click that link, fill out the form, and you'll be able to get access to some of our data. It is a limited version, but you'll still be able to hopefully use some of this data for your own trading if that seems like it would be helpful to you. And of course, if you're really interested, you can contact us and even try out the premium version, which you can do on our website. There you go. And I was looking at this and I saw, well, the big money is very much long on the US dollar, but it doesn't end there. We can see that, of course, they're very heavily long, big money is long, but what about retail traders? This is where things get really interesting. Look at things like NZD USD, which again is short the dollar, long NZD. Most retail traders are long. What about Euro USD? Euro USD, most retail traders are long. What about AUD USD? Most retail traders are long. What about USD CAD? Most retail traders are short, a 80% short ratio from retail traders. Now, why does this matter? We're stacking things to build a full picture. What we've got here, guys, is that on the dollar right now, big money is long and retail traders are short. If I were to ask you, who do you think is going to make more money more often? Professional traders or amateur traders? You'd probably call it professional traders, right? The idea behind that is that big money is big money for a reason. They have hedge funds and multi-billion-dollar firms buying and selling different currencies and commodities and stocks and bonds and all sorts of stuff. So if you notice that big money is long and retail traders are fighting this trend, that to me is an argument for bullishness overall on the dollar, and which is part of the reason why I picked up this dollar yen long position. But it doesn't stop there. We've got more to show you. Check this out. Let's look at seasonality. If we look at the seasonal trends of the market, it can be very telling in terms of month-to-month performance on different assets. Now, we're looking at dollar yen, and this one is not incredibly particularly interesting. You can see February is a slight negative expectancy. March is a slight positive. April, though, starts to get really bullish for the dollar, and it's not just there. Check this out. I want to show you some other charts. For example, maybe let's look at pound USD. See if we can find anything. Well, we're at the cusp of February. We're at the turning point of February into March. And look at what happens, historically speaking, in the month of March on the pound USD. Yes, you can see it is an average decline during this month. Why does that matter? Well, seasonality is important because if you notice seasonal trends in the financial markets, you can potentially make money off of that. So when we look at the pound USD, you can see we've got a downward trend, price held resistance very well, shot to the downside. And now, when we look at something like this, like I said, going into March, I'm going to be a bit more poised to the sell side rather than the long side. Now, again, we are combining several factors. We're looking at charts to do our technical analysis, but we're also looking at sentiment, which is that COT data, that retail sentiment, right? Seeing what the crowd is doing versus smart money, and also fundamentals, which we'll talk about in just a moment. The dollar looks really strong. And I want to show you, while we're talking about the pound, why the pound USD gets one of the strongest sell ratings on the Edgefinder. It gets a strong sell as we get a -9 score. And this is where I want to really get into the fundamentals. GDP growth, inflation, unemployment, and interest rates. You can see these ones are pretty interesting little factors. Well, when we look across the board at GDP growth came out this morning in the US at 2.7%. Sure, it was a bit of a miss, but it still is much higher than the GDP growth in the UK at 0% in the most recent reporting. But also, it doesn't stop there. Inflation is running crazy in the UK at 10.1%. Now, inflation is high across the board, but it's much more modest, still very high, but more modest than 10% at 6.4% here in the United States. And again, these are the fundamental factors. These are forces playing in the markets that we need to pay attention to if we're going to trade based on sort of a full picture look, fundamentals, sentiment, and technicals. Unemployment numbers, 3.4%. This is a healthier number in the US compared to that 3.7 unemployment in the UK. And finally, the interest rate is higher in the US, favoring the dollar, right? Higher interest rate, more attractive currency in most cases. So when we look at this, again, this is a sell chart in my view. Now we can start marking this up. We can get all sorts of ideas flowing. You have kind of a choppy chart here off the 4-hour chart. So the pound USD may not be my favorite contender. But again, that's part of the reason why I picked the dollar yen trending beautifully. So even if this chart stops me out, I'll be looking for bullish setups because again, this gets a nice buy bias on the Edgefinder. As we can see when we click on USD/JPY, pulls it up, buy bias here for us overall based on the factors we pay attention to. And you can notice COT data broken down specifically for the dollar yen, showing lots of bullishness for the dollar, lots of bearishness for the Japanese yen. Now, like I said, I've got more data for you. This stuff is really sort of coming together for the dollar bullish case in my view here based on what we see in the analysis. Carry trade tracker. This is a new page that we've been working on. I want to show you this. The carry trade is the idea that buying certain currencies with higher interest rates versus currencies with lower interest rates offers a positive swap or positive carry. If you're familiar with your broker charging swap or debiting or crediting you swap on your account, the dollar yen on most brokers pays a positive swap. It's because in the US, 4.75% interest rate is offered. In Japan, it's a -0.1%. So when we factor the difference, it's 4.8, and the directional bias for this is to the buy side because again, you collect that positive swap. Just another reason as to why I'm predominantly long biased on USD/JPY. Now, again, we are looking at a full picture of the dollar, and so we have to look at some of the other contenders. Here's Euro USD, which looking at the 4-hour chart shows a clear beeline to the downside. You can see this thing regimented selling, completely fell apart and came underneath the lows and even retested them intraday as it continues to look like it's sell heavy. Now, in terms of targets for the euro, someone on our stream today was talking about this, how it's probably a good shot we see if the euro stays bearish, a move down to a level like 1.050, which comes out to this green zone here as we're looking at it. You had this higher time frame trend to the upside. The pivotal point here on the technicals was a breakout there at 1.08, and to the downside we went, and like I said, I think on the lower time frames you might be able to gather a chance to sort of join and move with this. Now, of course, this is my opinion. I'm bearish on this. I can be wrong about that, but my point is I think that the odds for me and my strategy favor downside move and a continued expansion to the downside there down to 1.05. So that would be my thought on the euro. This one also, just going back to our carry trade concept for a second, offers a positive swap on the short side. Here's a euro USD, and you can see the euro offers 3, the US dollar offers 4.75%. That's a clear distinction by 1.75%. And if you buy the dollar, meaning sell euro by dollar, the positive swap there can flow nicely as well. So something to consider in your analysis. So yeah, kind of a full picture view of the charts look bearish for the euro, for the NZD, USD, for other crosses, but also on top of that, the dollar just looks so strong. Looking at the dollar index itself, it looks very, very healthy. And when we see these healthy uptrends, I'm usually trying to get involved. I'm not trying to short. I'm not trying to go against the Rhine. I'm going with the flow, if you will. So that's kind of my thought on the dollar overall. Let me know what you guys think down below in the chat or down below in the comment section. I always appreciate commentary from you guys. And as always, thank you for supporting the channel and being a viewer here. And we'll see you back next time. Have a great day. It looks like you made it to the end of one of my videos. Thank you so much for supporting my content. It really means the world to me. And down below in the description, I put together some of my best resources for aspiring traders who are looking to improve. I've got some free downloads that could help you, some broker recommendations, and if you'd like to join our Discord or get access to some of our trading software, all of that will be linked down below in the description. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.